When will Nick Kurtz get the call? Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express on Saturday, April 19th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White. The top 5 prospects most worth stashing right now. Number 1, no surprise, Nick Kurtz of the Athletics, followed by Zebby Matthews of the Twins, Bubba Chandler of the Pirates, Roman Anthony of the Red Sox, and Jordan Lawlar of the D-backs. Scott, Nick Kurtz is the talk of the minor league world right now. When do you think it could happen?
I think it could be any day now. I think we're there. And part of that is we've seen Brent Rooker, their DH, play 3 games in the outfield now. And there was actually a report on the Athletics official team site the other day, their beat writer Martin Gallegos, mentioning that they've even floated the idea of playing Tyler Soderstrom at third base at times as a way to get Kurtz in the lineup. And it sounds like it's going to be kind of a rotation situation where maybe Rooker plays outfield sometimes, Soderstrom third base sometimes. I don't know. Maybe Nick Kurtz plays outfield sometimes. We haven't seen that in the minors yet, but I know it's been brought up before as something they could experiment with. So they're clearly thinking about how they can make this work for Kurtz, and at least with Rooker moving to outfield on occasion, they're beginning to implement it. Mark Kotze, the Athletics manager, mentioned he's hitting the ball extremely hard. The exit velocities are really high. The competition aspect as well. You look at the velos that he's facing and some of the prospects he's going up against, he's done as much or more than what's needed. I mean, he's pretty much saying he's ready. And I mean, if it's to the point where the beat writer for the team's official site is writing an article explaining with quotes how they're going to fit Kurtz in the lineup, means Kurtz is about to join the lineup, I think. I feel like that's a pretty safe assumption. Let's see. Who else could we talk about here? So you mentioned my 5 prospects to stash. Matt Shaw isn't among them, but truthfully, he is. Truthfully, he's among the 5 prospects to stash, and I kind of want to talk about him since he just got sent down. Obviously, it was disappointment. He did show a good walk rate, 15%, and didn't get buried in strikeouts the way some young hitters do. But Cubs president of baseball operations, Jed Hoyer, said he felt like Shaw was in survival mode, like just looking to make contact as opposed to do damage and avoiding strikeouts that way. And that might explain why he averaged just 82.7 miles per hour on batted balls as compared to 89.3 at AAA last year. Like, clearly wasn't making impactful enough contact. And Shaw himself pointed out that that he had worked on some things in the offseason in anticipating higher velocities in the majors. He worked on starting his swing earlier. And I don't know if you've ever seen Shaw hit, but he has this really exaggerated and awkward looking leg kick that seems like that's how he generates his power. So it's so big that it seems like it could get out of sync really easily. And I think that was a big part of his problem and also contributed to the lower exit velocities in the majors is because he was changing things up, trying to anticipate higher velocity. The mechanics just got out of whack. And he said, I've realized that I didn't need to adjust like I did, and I think I was better off just sticking with what made me good. So he's going to need to get going at AAA. Clearly, he's going to need to get his timing down again. But I imagine Shaw will be back very quickly once that happens because there really isn't a plan B at third base for the Cubs. Like, it's pretty ugly there. Their options otherwise. A few quick notes here. Bubba Chandler had another good start, shy of 4 innings, but he peaked at 101.5 miles per hour in this latest one, which makes it, he's tied with Hunter Green among all professional pitchers. Obviously, Hunter Green, a major leaguer, hardest thrown ball this year. Bubba Chandler tied with Hunter Green with that 101.5. I think we see him in early May. Roman Anthony this past week set a career high for exit velocity, 113.1 miles per hour. And he has been racking up multi-hit games recently. Not sure how he's going to get in the Red Sox lineup, but they're going to find a way sooner than later. I think versatility of players like Ceddanne Rafaela and Christian Campbell will help, because an opening develops anywhere on the diamond for the Red Sox. They can probably find a way to make it work with Anthony. Jordan Lawlar performing well at AAA, playing mostly second base, which is noteworthy because their star second baseman, the Diamondback star second baseman, Ketel Marte, has been out with a hamstring injury. He is starting to ramp up again, so there may not be, the Diamondbacks may decide there may not be a time to introduce Lawlar before Marte comes back, but they got to find an opening for Lawlar at some point, because he's overdue, I would say, for a call up at this point.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
This is what you were made for. I was made for this.
Welcome back in, FBT Express. 5 more prospects who are doing something of note lately. Alex Freeland of the Dodgers, Robbie Snelling of the Marlins, CJ Kayfus of the Guardians, Noah Cameron of the Royals, Otto Kemp of the Phillies. Scott, anyone here that you would like to touch on real quick?
Yeah, a few of them. Alex Freeland of the Dodgers, shortstop prospect, consensus top 100 guy coming into this year, was kind of an unknown before that. So they've been playing Tommy Edman in center field more, I think, because Andy Pages is doing nothing out there. And that, if that becomes more permanent, Edman in center, that would free up an infield spot. Haesung Kim would be the odds-on favorite to fill it, and he's performing pretty well at AAA himself. But Kyle Freeland's a dark horse to do so. His average exit velocity so far is like 97 miles per hour. So he is just really stinging the ball down there, and obviously has upside. Robbie Snelling, who heading into last year was considered one of the top left-handed pitching prospects in baseball, had a really bad year, ended up being part of a big package of prospects for a couple months of Tanner Scott. Padres dealt him away to the Marlins. And things turned around for Snelling pretty much right after he joined the Marlins. 367 ERA, 124 whip, 10.3 K per 9 after that point. And now his stuff seems to have ticked up even more. He is averaging 95 miles per hour on his fastball, which is about what he was peaking at last year. And he's thrown 70% of his pitches for strikes so far. So Robbie Snelling quickly emerging as a top pitching prospect again, I'd say, if he got dropped in a dynasty league. Because of how last year went, definitely want to scoop him up. Noah Cameron is an interesting pitcher for the Royals after getting to AAA last year. Had a 2.41 ERA, 107 whip, 10.4 K per 9. The scouting reports aren't glowing despite those numbers. Averages about 93 on the fastball, but it has a really good shape, a lot of carry through the zone. And it's up about a mile per hour this year. So it's playing even better. Off to a good start at AAA. Noah Cameron, I imagine we'll see the left-hander at some point this season. And finally, real quick, Otto Kemp for the Phillies, because this was a completely new name to me. He went undrafted coming out of college, had an injury-plagued career there, and didn't do great in his 2023 professional debut. But last year, 16 homers, 20 steals, and 881 OPS. So he kind of put himself on the map. Otto Kemp we're talking about, of the Phillies. And then he starred in the Arizona Fall League, put up great numbers there. So far this year at AAA, it's a 25-year-old at AAA, so he's like knocking on the door already. Otto Kemp has an average exit velocity of 93 miles per hour and a max exit velocity of 111. A guy with really good on-base skills, dash of speed. He's played second, third, and first already, so he's versatile. I don't know at 25 that it's a high priority for the Phillies to break him in, but with that versatility, I think there's a good chance it happens at some point. Now, I don't know, this profile, Otto Kemp, seems pretty interesting to me.
All right, for more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express, and we will be back again next week. Bye-bye.